Welcome to First of His Name podcast. I am your co-host, Tone Roy.
And I am your co-host, Sheldon Calhoun, aka Lord Sheldon.
You
And
dig? I am aka Sir Tone Roy. Hey, hit us with the recap of the last episode, episode 5, Cripples, Bastards, and Broken Things.
okay, as he just said, the title Cripples, Bastards, and Broken Things. The last episode, Ned refuses to take an order from the king. Tyrion escapes one perilous encounter only to find himself in another. And then we go right into episode 6, A Golden Crown.
A golden crown, that is true. So again, just to recap, we are in episode 6 of First of His Name podcast, based on episode 6 of Game of Thrones, the iconic HBO series entitled A Golden Crown. Right? Did you want to start off? You want me to get right into that first episode? I mean, the first scene, pardon me.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So we're gonna open up with Ned awaking with King Robert overlooking him. And the previous incident that occurred was Jaime and Ned Stark's interaction or encounter that left Ned stabbed in the leg, and he's waking up, recovering from that incident, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think if we just show the clip, it'll be a lot easier, and then we can just tap in on the other side.
For sure.
Here we go.
Yeah, that was a cold line right there from the king.
I think that was
he said he shouldn't have hit her. It was not kingly of him. You know,
right. Even after that clip,
we do not condone anything of that nature.
No, yeah, it's not a condone. This is fiction. First of all, number two, we don't condone it, and only thing we speaking is on the effects of what they wrote and what they performed on camera.
But he was cold for that line right there. I can't even sit here and laugh.
He was cold.
He was cold for that line.
Oh, bro, that was swagger, pimp, player, fantastic. That's the way it go. Wear the silence, so I'll honor you again.
That's cool.
What'd you say?
I was repeating what Cersei said. But no, I wanted to touch on something right quick. Pause. Lord Stark's when she said when she was like Lord Stark was returning from a brothel when his men attacked Jaime. That's not the first time she did something like that. The first time we, at least if I'm not mistaken, the first time I seen something like that was in the King's Road when Joffrey had got attacked by the direwolf.
And she lied.
She sat up there and tried to make up the whole story about
they attacked him. They sicked the dog on him.
She sicked the direwolf on Joffrey, and they beat him with sticks. And I'm like, how you just making up this? Like,
that was her whole character. That was her personality. She there was no accountability,
wicked,
no
man.
Claiming wrong when they do wrong. It was always a thing, and we'll see that as an underlying theme with Cersei moving forward. But that was significant in that scene for her to attempt to disparage
make the story
him.
She wanted to make.
Yeah, made it turn into, like, again, Jory and 2 other men died, and then Ned Stark was injured, and she turned it knowing she's lying. It's different to say something because you believe this happened or you were told or whatever, but she knows she's blatantly lying because she wanted to gain favor with Robert, who's the overall decision maker.
Exactly.
And that's exactly how that scene works. A little more detail about that scene. Robert specifically states that he never loved his own brothers, and that Ned was the brother he chose, which exposes or expresses his direct love for Ned. You know, they did a little back and forth. Ned wanted to excuse me. Pardon me. That give me a 3.
Pay no attention to that, people.
That never I literally it don't even exist. What are you talking about? What you mean? Right?
No, you said something about Ned was like the brother that King Robert chose. Something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He never loved his own brothers, but he chose Robert as a brother.
Which we heard about, which we met one of his brothers already, Lord Renly Baratheon, and we've heard of his other brother, Lord Stannis Baratheon. And
Right.
these are the brothers he's referring to in that scene. And then like within that same scene, he gives the hand of the kingpin right back to Ned Stark and told him, put it back on. And if you take it off again, I'll pin the damn thing on Jaime Lannister.
There we go.
You know
That's
what I
very
mean?
key and significant.
As far as like a little fake threat between them two, because he know he don't really like Jaime. You know what I mean? So
I would consider it a fake threat to get Nate's attention, Ned's attention, but it was a real threat. I think he meant that because
no, he
Robert was a man
probably
of his
would have
word.
done that if
Ned hadn't. There you go.
If Ned wouldn't have
if
complied.
Ned bucked on the system.
Yeah.
If Ned had bucked on the system and not did what his king orders, yeah, it would have been a thing. But also in that scene we had Ned. Pardon me, King Robert requested for Ned, not requested, he ordered for Ned to put an end to this, let the imp go, and make peace with Jaime Lannister. Ned stated that he wanted to travel to Winterfell to relay the message. The King Robert wasn't having that. He said, no, you'll send a raven and you'll stay here and be my king, my hand of the king, and then that's where it gets to that the part where he walks out and said, "Pin that badge back on, and if you take it off again, I'll pin the damn thing on."
Let's not forget to mention the fact that Ned was like adamant about Jaime Lannister being brought to justice about killing Jory and his.
Oh yes, sir. We can't leave that part out. We can't.
And he was like, what about Jaime Lannister? And he repeated it like 3 or 4 times. But the king was like, come on, man, I'm half a kingdom in debt to his damn father. I can't you putting me in a box right here. I can't really do much. You know what I mean? I owe his father millions and millions of dollars. So there's not much I can do with that situation. Only thing I know is if the Starks and the Lannisters are at each other's throat, I can't run the kingdom the right way. So y'all got to squash it. So yeah, that's pretty much.
Yeah, because in that same scene, very, very good way to point that out, brother. I kind of drifted over those notes, so to speak, but it was a point where King Robert demanded the Starks and the Lannister make peace because he made it abundantly clear, I owe their father, referring to Cersei and Jaime and Tyrion's father, Tywin, I owe him so much. You're gonna make peace. You're gonna be my king, my hand to the king, and you're gonna make peace with Jaime. You're gonna return the imp, and you need to talk to your wife about making that right before he leaves. And before he leaves, he expresses that King Robert is going out on a hunt. So now Ned Stark must
serve as Lord Protector.
Serve as Lord Protector of the realm and sit the Iron Throne in the absence of King Robert, right? Okay, right on. So now we go to Daenerys with her dragon egg. The next scene is Daenerys in a hut or shack or tent, whatever you want to call it, with her dragon egg. And there's a burning pit in front of her. She takes the egg, places it in the pit. It starts to smolder and fire and steam, and she's overseeing the egg. And then, forgive me, but it's either Doria or Illyria. It's 2 different maids or assistants or handmaids that she had, and I can't remember which name it was.
I think it's Doria, if I'm not
mistaken. Doria the one that did the bathtub scene with Viserys?
But yeah, if that's Doria, then that's not the same person.
It's 2 different. There we go. We on the same. It's 2 different women. So Doria, I believe, has the longer, curlier hair.
That's
that
the
was
one
in
that
the tub with Viserys.
Khal Drogo, right?
That's the one that. Well, the one that was in this scene with the burnt dragon egg is the one that taught Daenerys how to seduce Khal Drogo. Exactly. But I was confused as the name of the person. You got Doria and Illyria. So those names are interchangeable right now. We may bumble.
I think the one that came in to the one with the dragon egg was Illyria, because Doria, if I'm not mistaken, we're gonna see her later on and I'll talk about it in the spoiler section. But
I think we should, because it's something I want to bring up that relates to later in what's the name of that place where the dude got the safe? We'll just say Karth. Are you relating to the dude with the girl? Okay, so we'll see that later, but we on the same page. Anyway, so Daenerys places the egg into the berm or the fire pit, and as the Doria or Illyria walks into the room, Daenerys picks up the egg and stares at it, and then Doria is like, "Oh, Khaleesi, what are you doing?" And she grabs the egg from her,
burning hot,
and it was burning hot. And then Doria grabs Daenerys' hands, and there were no burns, and it reveals that Doria burned her hands.
Yeah.
And that was, I think that was is that the very first time that the blood of the dragon makes its true appearance in the Game of Thrones?
It could be. That's debatable, because we also saw her getting into some water at Illyrio Mantis', I forget how you say his name, but Illyrio, his mansion, she got into some really hot water. And the handmaiden, the lady who drew her bath for her, told her, "It's too hot, my lady," and she still got in there when it was steaming hot. So
okay, you're right. That was probably the precursor to Daenerys facing like the heat, the fire. It was hot water first, and then it was fire, and it turns into here, and we'll get into that, of course, overall. But I think that was significant for the specific nature or fact of Daenerys later being the mother of dragons, right? That's where the titles become, because as she goes on her journey, she just gains more and more and more and more titles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like you will hear I don't want to say, we'll say something in the spoiler section, but you will hear all these different titles that she'll get along her journey. Like,
right,
it's going to be so many
those titles
that relates to all of the things that she's done.
There we go. Those titles relate directly to the things she's accomplished and done. And that's not the things she's done, it's things that she's done that people can document. So when she says she's this or that, people can say, yes, she's this or that. And it's not just the people in the Khalasar or the future army that she that's beholden to her. The next scene, we have the three-eyed raven making an appearance again.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so we got Bran. It's becoming a revolving theme with Bran in Winterfell practicing his archery and having a three-eyed raven make an appearance.
Yeah, ever since his fall, it's always like every time we see a scene with him, it starts off with the three-eyed raven and him in the field shooting his bow and arrow.
Exactly. There we go. But the thing is, with this vision, the raven goes down down into the crypt, the Winterfell crypt or the Stark house crypt, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's significant. I think that's spoiler alert, spoiler section as well. But that's significant because the next moment, Hodor appears with the saddle that Tyrion originally manufactured or gave the blueprints for Bran, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's our good friend Hodor appears. And
next we see him in the field with Theon and Robb Stark, and he's on the horse and enjoying himself. You hear him screaming in the background, woohoo! And right from there, you hear Theon and Robb Stark discussing what just went down in King's Landing with Jaime Lannister and some of the Lannister soldiers taking out Jory and injuring Ned Stark. And Theon is on some like, man, you got to defend your house when your father can't. You got to, let's strike back. And
like,
Theon,
he stated to him that the Lannisters already started this war with their actions, right?
Right.
So when Robb and Theon are speaking, and Theon keeps trying to push Robb in a certain direction. What does Robb tell Theon about his house?
Oh, he pretty much tells him like, man, this is not your house, so you it's not for you to worry about. So
there we go, because Theon makes a statement like, you need to protect your house in the absence of your father, and Robb specifically tells him, it's not your house, it's not your duty.
Right.
And that becomes, in that moment, it was a few seconds, but it resonated like it was hours, in my opinion. It struck,
I mean, yeah, you can feel
Theon.
the hurt. You can see the hurt in Theon's eyes once it was said to him.
Definitely. It's back to that conversation of Theon again was a ward, right? The Starks are his bosses, his masters. He's not a part of this family. He doesn't get a say. It is not in his control for the most part, right?
Absolutely.
But it's great. It's great because the very next scene we go to Robb looking around for Bran and he can't find him. And what does Theon say to Bran? I mean, what does Theon say to Robb?
He said, "What's Bran?" He said, "I don't know. It's not my house.
It's not my duty." Exactly. Yeah. He literally got a chance to throw it back in his face a minute later.
Immediately, like wasting no time with it. So then and there, after he looking for Bran, Bran is caught by 3 wildlings. So they asking him like to get down from his horse. And he's telling them like, you can see the straps in the saddle, like, and they ask him like, what are you, some kind of cripple or something? They're like, he's like, yeah, but I'm Brandon Stark in Winterfell, and if you don't let me go right now, but he also explained to them that his brother is out here somewhere. They like, we don't see your brother. And then right then and there, you see Robb Stark come up and pull out his weapon. He tells them to let his little brother go. One of the wildlings ran up on Robb Stark, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is Robb's first kill. So
this is Robb's first kill. Yeah, Theon mentioned that later, as in your first kill, depending on the first kill, determines the type of man you are and if you're a true man. But I'll just let me rewind a little bit. First things first, we meet Osha.
Yeah, Osha for sure.
We meet Osha. Now I'm not sure if Osha was with the
the
mountain men or if she was a wildling.
She was a wildling.
She was a wildling, and they were close enough to the north to the wall in the north that wildlings were still known to be in the area. Right?
Okay. She was a wildling, and they was discussing trying to get as far south as South goes, which is a question that I'm gonna ask you. Where is that? Which I'm sure you probably know, but they was trying to get as far south as South goes because the guy who took Bran captive was saying like there ain't no White Walkers in the South. Well, you know, as far south as South goes. So they was pretty much leaving from the north, like north of the wall. And you remember
north of the wall, exactly.
You remember when Osha was saying that, oh my God, Benjen Stark's own blood. Imagine what Mance would give us. So you know they wildlings if they trying to bring a gift to Mance Rayder, because Mance is the king beyond the wall who is in charge of all the wildlings.
But the other guy who I'll say he remains unnamed because we never heard a name, and I couldn't find a name.
That's I never.
He had no.
That's a wildling.
Yeah, but he had no expectation, thoughts, or want or need to travel north. His thing was to travel south, right?
Yeah.
And I think in that moment, if we love Game of Thrones, we watching it, we don't know what it is, but we didn't realize, or I didn't realize in my first 1 or 2 watches of the series, that he was already trying to get away from the north and the wall for specific reasons.
Yeah.
He didn't go into detail, but he knew he didn't care about being in good faith with Mance Rayder. All he cared about was going south, right? To King's Landing. So next we have, where are we? That was a very long scene.
Robert
kills 2 men.
Right after that.
Then we got Tyrion in the Sky Cell. I call it the Sky Dungeon because I thought that's what they called it, but they don't call it that. They call it the Sky Cell. So Tyrion in the Sky Cell, and he sleep. He's asleep. He rolls over and almost falls off the edge. The sky sail is a high above the clouds where they are in the Erie and the Vale, and it's 3 walls and 1 wall with nothing.
Something like this. This is the sail, and this is the part that you lay on right here. But it's like this.
Do that. Yeah, that's the angle. So it's sloped down away from the main interior wall.
Exactly.
And it's open on where your right hand is. It's open.
And
on
it's like
point the side that they can see that where there's no wall.
Oh, well, this right here would be the back of the wall, right? This would be the back of the wall if we're talking about the sail. And
right, hold it with your left hand, hold it up, and then point out the right side.
It's gonna fall over.
No, with your left hand, hold up this where the spiral is.
What?
Yeah, kind of, right? And then so that one side is the wall. The other 2 sides where his fist is and where his chest is a wall, and the opposite side, because they're gonna see it in reverse. So the left side of the screen where his right hand is where there's no wall, and it's sloped away, right?
And also, if you just go back and look at our last episode, I showed you a visual image of it on the screen on our last episode. So
exactly. So we know that he's in the sky sail. He calls Mort, and when Mort enters, he hits Tyrion. He knocks him to the ground because Tyrion keep annoying him. So he's annoyed with Tyrion. He's tired of Tyrion's shit, and he searches Tyrion. He says, "No gold." Tyrion keeps saying, "I'll give you gold. I'll give you gold." He keeps tapping his pockets and searching them like, "No gold, no gold," and then it'll hit him. You don't hear this. This is what Tyrion's going through in the sky sail as they kind of flash in and flash out, right?
Yeah.
The next scene is Syrio and Arya doing their practices. And based on Jory's death, the other men's death, and her father being injured, she doesn't want to practice, right? But what does Syrio tell her?
He pretty much tells her like, when you're troubled, is the best time to practice. So like, and he also, this is where we first hear the term, there's only one God, and his name is Death. And what do we say to the God of Death? We say, not today.
Not today. Right. There you go. Yep. So that gives you a little more insight behind how Arya becomes how Arya's mind frame develops, right? So it's from everything she already knew, who she wanted to be, to this moment prior to the real stuff happening. He tells her there's only one God. She told him she prays to the new gods and the old. He said there's only one God, and that God is death. And what do we tell the God of death? Not today, right? So, and then she, as his words start to affect her, she gets more into the fighting. And I honestly believe a lot of things we see from her later, we already know that this is the blueprint, this is the foundation. But in this scene, you see her a little bit with her from the last scene. You see her sword work, the way she moves. Now she's left-handed, but the way she's working with her right hand lets you know that she's learning, she's developing. That's just in my opinion. I've watched it 40 times, so I kind of just think, what I think. And from there, we have Daenerys eating a particular thing in order to ingratiate herself with the Khalasar.
Yeah, she's they doing some type of ritual as far as the Dothraki does it, where they in the back chanting and saying all of these type of omens and stuff like that, and then she has to consume whatever she's consuming, like without regurgitating, and I guess then she becomes some type of she becomes more a part of their team, if you will,
She becomes a true queen, which is what Jorah Mormont spoke it. As he witnessed
today,
it, because
she is the true queen.
Yeah, today she is the true queen, which is what Viserys Targaryen and Jorah Mormont witnessed as Khal Drogo and his Khalasar witnessed Dany taking on that ritual. And she chewed up that heart, man. She ate that heart like a burger.
Right.
And as Jorah and Viserys watches on, there's a priestess that's speaking in Dothraki, and Viserys requests Jorah make the translation. You remember what he said?
I'm not sure exactly what she said, and I don't remember.
Jorah translate the Dothraki priestess. She speaks of Daenerys and Khal Drogo's son being a fearsome warrior. As Dany finishes the heart, she barely keeps down the heart, almost about to throw up, which is what you said is the ritual. Keeping it down and not throwing up is a show of strength. It's a show of honor, valor. That's how she becomes the queen. And her and Khal Drogo lock eyes. The priestess speaks to the stallion who mounts the world. The call of all calls unites in all of the world. Basically, what they're saying is Daenerys Targaryen and Khal Drogo's child, which is a son, will mount the world. He's a stallion that will mount the world, right? Meaning he will take over all of the Dothraki, as well as chamber in a new way in the other parts of the world that the Dothraki aren't a part of, and ultimately control the entire world as the stallion who mounts the world. That's what that means. That's the breakdown of interpretation of. Jorah is translating all of this for Viserys, who we obviously see being annoyed, perturbed, and he doesn't like what he's seeing because he's seeing Daenerys.
The stuff that he wants for himself. Yeah.
There we go.
All the stuff that all the love that they showing her, all the glory that they giving her is what he feel like he should be having because he is the blood of the dragon, if you will.
He is the next heir in line of succession for the Iron Throne, technically. And him linking with Khal Drogo was his way of, and then giving his sister to Khal Drogo was his way of ingratiating with them and then obtaining their army.
Right.
Yeah. But the fact that his sister grew into a queen of that Khalasar, I mean, honestly, if I'll give my opinion, he should have just understood what was going on and continued to have his sister help influence what his ultimate cause was. He couldn't accept that his sister was being held in higher regard than him.
Right.
And I think that's where the stumble happens. And once Dany or Daenerys finishes the heart and she stands, she says clear to the Dothraki Khalasar. Jorah translates for Viserys. She stands and say, "A prince rides inside me, and he shall be called Rhaego." I forgot all about she named their child.
That was
I lost sight of that. Is it? I see. I think my notes be kind of it be getting there a little bit. You know, I miss a lot of stuff. I ain't gonna lie, even on the 40th watch, but I didn't realize that it was Rhaego. It was a combination of a Targaryen name. I think so. Rhaegar, Rhaegon, Rhaenyra, Rhaenys, whatever, and Drogo. So I think that was just cool. Anybody that watch it or see it, there when they hear it, they'll recognize the Rhaegar, the Rhaenyra, Rhaenys, Rhaegon, all these different names. And I just think that was cool. Drogo ultimately stands and he embraces her. He takes her in his arms and then he walks her around the Khalasar. And that's when Jorah Mormont states that she is a true queen, that today she is a true queen.
Right.
And he looks around and Viserys is not there anymore.
Yeah. So what did Viserys go to?
Hey, let the people know.
Well, okay. From there, you see Viserys was all jealous, and you could see that he was getting like agitated and whatnot. So from there, he went to you see the whole Khalasar is inside this tent celebrating the feast, and Jorah is going to find Viserys, and he finds him looking at Daenerys' 3 dragon eggs. He finds him trying to steal Daenerys' 3 dragon eggs, and as he's leaving, Jorah stops him from taking the eggs. And I was gonna add, what we can do this in the spoiler section, whatever. But I was gonna ask how much the eggs are worth. What are the values of the eggs? But we can do that later.
I got you.
And then he says from there, Viserys is trying to leave, and he tells Jorah, like, I see the way you look at my little sister. You know what I'm saying? Like, I you know, you don't think I know what you want. I don't care. You can have her. You know what I'm saying? Just let me leave. He was like, well, you can leave. You just can't leave with 3 eggs. So he just ended up leaving and leaving the eggs. That's pretty much what happened in that scene. You know,
right? But that was a nice standoff because in between all of that, Viserys called Jorah Mormont on Jorah's oath to Viserys that he took to get him back to the Iron Throne.
Yeah.
And Jorah was like, "Hey, we are here right now in this moment. This is what it is. She's queen. You're not a king. You're not even a prince. Like, leave it be." So he stood in front of him. Viserys drops the eggs. He stepped to the side and let him go on about his business. And
yeah,
we would have hoped that would have ended there, but of course it doesn't.
Obviously,
right?
We see something later on. From there, we see Tyrion actually talking to Mord again.
He's back in the Sky Sail.
Yeah, back in the Sky Sail. And now this time he is baiting Mord with the promise of gold. Says he wants to confess. He baits Mord to go out there, and he uses the phrase "rich as a Lannister" to bait Mord. And
Mord recognized
when he says that, Mord knew what he meant by that. Mord was like, "Oh, the Lannister." He's like, "Oh, Lannister's rich Lannister." So he put that together, and then he finally brought Tyrion out to confess his crimes. And Tyrion goes out there and he just starts to say crazy stuff that he used to do as a kid.
Right. Slow down. Hold on. First, just to go back to your point of Mort understanding rich as a Lannister was the first term. Have you ever heard the term rich as a Lannister? Mort is like, and that was the first time Mort stopped beating on him and talking shit, and he just stopped, and he's just like, I know what you mean.
Right.
Like, when they arrested me, I had gold. It's still my gold. It's just not in my possession. Because Mort kept hitting them and searching them like, no gold. And I'll just make a point. This one point I want to make. Tyrion mentioned his freedom to Mort. And Mort looked at the opening in the Sky Sail and said, you want freedom? Go get your freedom. That's how you go get your freedom. That was before Mort came to his senses about rich as a Lannister, and the Lannister always pays their debts. And that's where he talks him into speaking to Lysa Arryn and getting him in front of her, basically, like you said, to confess his crimes. And then we go into the craziness of the crimes he confessed, because he didn't just confess, because he was, let's be clear, he was accused of trying to murder Bran once, not only once, but twice, right? And also the murder of Jon Arryn. Those were his charges.
Yeah.
So as he stands in front of Lysa Arryn, Robin Arryn, and Catelyn Stark, where do we go from there?
As well as all the citizens of the Vale and all the
knights the court, of course, many people. It's like 200 people in that room.
Yeah. So from there, we hear Tyrion just confessing all kind of weird or crazy crimes that he did as a kid. He said that he stole this girl robe who was swimming, and she was forced to walk back to the castle naked. He said
she's down at the river taking a bath, and he stole her robe, the dirty dog.
He said made the bald man cry into his sister's stew. I thought I put my phone.
Yeah, you got to go do not disturb, bro. Yeah, every time it pop, it slows it up a little bit. But go ahead. What you talking about? He did the bald man in the stew.
Oh yeah, he said he made the bald man cry into the stew, which means pretty much he ejaculated into his sister's stew, which he thought she ate it.
She ate. He's sure she ate it. He hoped he ate. She ate it. Well, but he just used various different ways of how to stretch the weasel, so to speak. You know what I mean? I don't even know if that's a term. I just came up with that one. But he used all these different terms on how he, you know what I'm saying, skeeted in certain areas. He's mentioned the young girl that was bathing at the river and he stole a robe. And as he moves forward, was there anything you want to get to before he called for his trial?
No. He, I was just gonna. I mean, not really. I was just gonna say from there, he was just making all of these funny terms that then ultimately ended up having Lady Aaron say, or I'm sorry, Lady Catelyn say, "Well, you here for these two things? This is what you was being charged with."
She brought it back to the topic, right? Yeah.
And he was like, "Well, I have nothing to do with that." And then that's when Lady Aaron tried to throw him back into the sky cells, and is this how justice is done in the Vale? And then he from there he pretty much called for a trial by combat, which nobody, I'm sorry, everybody was so thirsty to be the Queen's champ or to be Lysa Arryn's champion. When he finally said that he was gonna bring his brother Jaime Lannister to be his champion, everybody just started getting quiet. Even Sir Vardis of the Vale, the Knight of the Vale, he was like, "I'll gladly fight the king, the Imp's champion for you." But when he found out the Imp's champion was Jaime Lannister, he was looking like a little.
But no, slow down. Before Tyrion called for his own champion, when he requested a trial by combat, everybody in the room assumed what?
Assumed that Tyrion was going to be the one who was fighting.
The Tyrion was going to be, yeah. So everybody that all be here, my lady. I'll fight for Lord Aaron, and Jon Arryn is my hero, and I'll fight. A lot of them were honestly thinking that was going to be, you know, and I think that's what allowed Tyrion to recognize the next step and then the next step. The first step was, I'm not going to fight as my own champion. I request my brother Jaime Lannister be my champion.
Right.
So even after everyone, after Lysa Arryn said we're going to have a trial, or Tyrion requested a trial, Lysa Arryn said there's no executioner here in the Vale. We don't have an executioner. It's going to go the way it goes. You're going to die one way or the other, right? So then when Tyrion requests Jaime, that changed everything.
Yeah.
Correct? Now,
absolutely.
Lysa Arryn decides what? Oh, the trial must happen today.
Must be done today, yeah. And
that must happen today.
That's when he asked, do we have a volunteer?
And it was laughter, it was silence.
Yeah.
He had one person in that crowd that was on his side. And he didn't even know it.
A 1% chance of getting somebody on his side out of he had terrible odds. And he ended up getting somebody that volunteered for him. All stand for the door.
Yeah. And at this point, let's just point out that with everyone that was willing to stand for Lysa Arryn and Jon Arryn and the people of the Eyrie, the House Eyrie, I guess you would say. What the fuck? No, it's not House Eyrie. House is the name. Anyway, she specifically looked at Lord Vardis. It was a lot of people saying that they want to fight, but Sir Varys was part of the Hands Guard.
Yeah.
Not the King's Guard yet. Whatever
he was one of the Knights of the Vale.
He was a Knight of the Vale. No, it's not just Knight of the Vale. He was also attached to King's Landing as Robert Arryn's Kingsguard, but he wasn't a king. What it was? It's called the Hands Guard. Am I correct?
No, I ain't never heard that term. I think it's just his personal guard.
No, it's the Knights of it's personal guard. It's not the Knights of the City Watch. Is it? Those would be like the police for King's Landing and the Red Keep and
the City Watch.
That's separate.
Yeah, that's separate from.
Okay.
Like how Ned Stark had his personal guard. How he remember?
Okay,
he
well, yeah.
Yeah. Remember he was like, I'm gonna give y'all 50 of my personal guard and all of that.
Got you. Yeah, so it was his personal guard, but it was the king. It was the Hands Guard. I'm gonna call it that just because it makes sense to me. Because you got the King's Guard, the Queen's Guard, the Hands Guard, the City Watch. You got all these different things, but
gotcha.
They assumed that the person fighting would be Tyrion. Tyrion requests for Jaime. Jaime's too far away. Lysa rejects and states, "Trial by combat today." Tyrion asks for a volunteer, and who steps up for him?
My man Bronn.
Bronn of the Nothing, the sellsword.
Right now.
Yeah, you go from Sir Vardis, a sworn knight, a knighted knight, a knight of the Vale, top honor, versus Bronn of the Nothing. He not even Bronn of the Blackwater yet.
Common sellsword.
A common sellsword. Bronn steps up for him. Honestly, this is when we knew that Bronn kind of low key or high key messed with Tyrion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we knew he was money hungry because when he first met Tyrion before Tyrion was captured by Lady Stark, he asked, "Is there nothing we can do?" And he asked, "Can he buy somebody's cabin?" Bronn was the one that let him buy his cabin for the money. The next thing we see is Bronn and Tyrion on the Eastern Road, and you hear Tyrion like, "Well, yeah, my father will be looking for me. He'll be paying a handsome reward." And that's when you see Bronn looking like, "Oh, really, Willie?" And then that's the next time we see Bronn is when he stood for him at the night at the trial by combat at the Eyrie, because he wanted that paper. He heard about the Lannisters. He know who the Lannisters is, and he like, okay, well, since the Lannister always pays his debts, if I take care of this young player, he gonna take care of this older player. You dig what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying. What I'm saying is the fact that I everything that you said, I still don't think a sensible Bronn would put his life in danger. If there was a circumstance where Bronn thought, I'm gonna die or get this gold, he'd not go for the gold.
Of course not.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. He not everything you just said, that he builds to that.
Yeah.
I'm referring to in this moment up to this point, all of his engagements or interactions with Tyrion, it had nothing to do with none of that other shit, right?
I feel like only reason he even stood for him because he had the opportunity to get some money.
Again, I'ma die versus this gold. What is Bronn choosing? I'ma die.
He knew Sir Vardis wasn't finna beat him.
You think he knew? Or he just had confidence? It's a difference.
I'm sure he knew. He knew. He didn't even ask for no shield when he was fighting.
Do you know why he didn't need a shield? Because that's a heavy knight. He mentioned this is what I'm talking about. Later on, we recognize, I think you've already watched it, so a lot of your thoughts are connecting to what you already know. I'm saying Bronn's thoughts in this moment at season 1, episode 6 has nothing to do with season 2, episode 7, season 3, episode 5, season 4, episode whatever. I think you're kind of overlapping what you already know about Bronn and Tyrion with what's happening right now. At this point, he just making the decision to step up for Tyrion. He didn't know Tyrion. The entire time they were just walking, or he was just going on a journey as a sellsword. So him knowing, oh, this motherfucker got gold, that only matters so much. Again, is he gonna face death, or is he gonna go for the gold?
Well, I mean, shit, he's not gonna face death.
I just think that this is when we first find out that Bronn fucked with Tyrion. This is what his skills, the possibility for all the stuff later. This is season 1, episode 6. He didn't know enough about Tyrion or none of that shit in order for that to affect his choice to stand up for him at the Vale, because they got so much that's going on later. I think that's part of where it comes in. But he steps up for him, and Tyrion is shocked, but Tyrion is happy, right?
Absolutely. Somebody stepped up for him.
He of course, I doubt he expected anyone to, after he requested Jaime Lannister, his brother, and they wouldn't accept that. I think that's where it turns into a different story. But real quick, this next scene is a quick one, but King Robert, Renly Baratheon, Barristan Selmy, and Lancel Lannister are out on that hunt that the king went out on, right? And they have a quick scene where King Robert speaks on simpler times and how he enjoyed battles, war, and killing, whoring and drinking. That was Robert's thing. Like, he was a brute. He was a freaking Neanderthal.
He was a Viking, man.
He basically was a Viking, especially related to the times, right? And he makes fun of Renly for attending his little masquerade balls and costume parties and all of that shit. And it comes up how do you make the 8, Sheldon? Lord Sheldon?
Well, you have to fuck a girl from every kingdom in Westeros, meaning and the Riverlands.
There we go.
You gotta make the 8.
That's how you make the 8. Fucking a girl from every kingdom of the 7 kingdoms, as well as the Riverlands, and that's what made you a real man in their eyes, right?
So, Sir Tom Rory, have you ever made the 8?
I have made the fucking 13 out of 29 with Mexico. I've been bro. I had a list. I was in the Army, using the Navy.
Spoiler section. Hey, look, we're gonna talk about this in the spoiler section.
We're gonna talk about that later. That's a whole different conversation. And my lady probably can hear me. So. Next.
So right from there, he talks about simpler times and making the 8, and Lord Renly Baratheon has like a slight attitude with the king, because he's like, okay, when was this time? Was it when the Mad King burned people alive for amusement, or was it when half of Westeros killed each other, or was it way before then when dragons burned whole cities to the ground? And he was like, hold on now, I know you getting a little upset, but remember who you talking to.
I'm the king. Yeah, I'm still the king, little brother.
Look, bro, come on now, get it together.
And then Renly storms away, and King Robert take a good drink, and then they march on.
Right. Let's not forget to mention.
I think that was one of the ones that contributed to the future.
Yeah, let's not forget to mention the fact that Lancel Lannister, the king's squire, was like so adamant about making sure the king got his refreshments, making sure he was never without wine. That's something that
was his duty
to pay attention to.
I think that was a twofold. It was part of somebody else telling them to make sure to keep feeding them, as well as the king requesting it, right?
Yeah, of course. Because
wine boy. He just kept on wine boy. Wine. That's all he cared about, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the next thing we see Ned sitting on the Iron Throne, taking what they call, I guess it'd be like complaints and
requests
and community outreach from the small folk. That's where it comes from. Yeah. And it turns out that
it was a man from the Riverlands complaining about his village being raided, his women being raped numerous times. And as he describes the person or the people who did it, he says that it was a man, a foot taller than any man he ever seen. The man had took the head off of a horse with a single sword, and that's when Peter Baelish tells Ned Stark it sounds like he's describing Sir Gregor Clegane the Mountain.
No, yeah, he said somebody we know, and then it is they made the assumption, that it was Sir Gregor Clegane the Mountain, and they threw some dead fish out, and it was this thing where they left dead fish and pillaged and raped and killed and murdered anyone they could. And in that scene, as well as Peter Baelish speaking about the mountain, Maester Pycelle was thinking, because the thought came out that the mountain works for who?
Lord Tywin.
Lord Tywin Lannister of Casterly Rock. So it became this thing where Peter Baelish on one side and Maester Pycelle on the other, and they had a dispute or disagreement about who's responsible and what should be done next, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was Ned's thought? What was Ned's decree or declaration?
Well, Ned ultimately said that he strips Sir Gregor Clegane of all titles and ranks. He what does he call it? Denounces him and attaints him, and he also called on Lord Tywin Lannister of Casterly Rock to come to King's Landing and answer the crimes of his bannermen, or be held an enemy of the crown.
Right, but before that, he calls up Lord Beric Dondarrion.
Sir Beric Dondarrion, yeah.
He gives Sir Beric, and he gives him 100 men, and he imposes that on him. Not only does he call for it, but he specifically in that moment declares that this person, Sir Beric Dondarrion, take on the call of the Hand of the King, acting in the absence of the King Robert Baratheon, to not only capture and basically put out a warrant for Sir Gregor Clegane, but he also threatens, he strips Sir Gregor of all titles. He strips him of all titles and lands, as well as stating to Tywin, he declared Grand Maester Pycelle sent a raven that states, Tywin in a fort must surrender himself or be branded a traitor to the realm and an enemy of the crown. I think that was the robust end of Ned's understanding. I don't think he recognized making that declaration would lead to so many other things, right?
Yeah, which is what Peter Baelish warned him about. He was telling them, like, man, you know, that's a pretty brazen move, but do you think it's wise to yank the lion's tail? Tywin Lannister is the richest man in all of the Seven Kingdoms. And he reminds him that gold wins wars and not soldiers. Not soldiers. But then that's when Ned Stark told him, so why is Tywin Lannister not king? And Robert Baratheon is, you know? That was like a little nice shot back, I feel like, you know.
But I think it was like every other shot Ned take. When he took a shot at Jaime, none of that shit landed, and it didn't matter. Look at what happened after. You get what I'm saying? So all these shots, they bars, bro. They like hip hop, freaking historian museum. Like, these are bars. Like, he hit him, but everything went against what Ned felt and believed in, and he believed it. So even in that moment that you're speaking to, he's telling Baelish, well, why isn't Tywin king and Robert is? He didn't even realize what was going to happen immediately after those words, right?
Yeah.
Hold on, damn, my bad. Hold on, give me one moment.
Every other city we go. Well, I tell y'all one thing I know about Game of Thrones. It's really one of the coolest TV shows that you'll ever get to see. It really is, man. If you can just sit there, and some people say, man, I can't get through it, man. If you can sit there and get through it, I'm telling you right now, it will be very rewarding for you, man. You can fall in love and be a fan like I became a fan, man. I'm like so in tune with it. It's ridiculous. My man is back. Sir Tone Roy is back in the building. We'll jump right into it.
Let me take a note. Hold on. Let me take a note of where he at. I cut all this shit out. It ain't no thing. So I'm gonna go 56:30. All right, we go roll back into it like a 3, 2, 1.
That's cool.
All right, so what was we saying?
I was just gonna go straight into the next scene because the last scene we talked about was Ned walking off from the crown or from the Iron Throne and saying that why is Tywin Lannister not king and Robert Baratheon is.
Okay, so yeah, and I'm gonna give you the 3, 2, 1 countdown, and you go straight to back at the Eyrie with Ser Vardis and Bronn versus Bronn. Right? Oh shit, hold on, let me readjust. And all right, 3, 2, 1.
The next thing we got going on is a trial by combat in which Bronn is standing for Tyrion Lannister, and Ser Vardis, the Knight of the Vale, is standing for Lady Arryn. From there, you see Bronn and Ser Vardis fighting. Bronn is without the shield and without armor. Ser Vardis has a shield and is fully dressed in armor. They going back and forth fighting. Bronn is like knocking things down and moving stuff in front of Ser Vardis, pushing people in front of Ser Vardis while they in that fight.
He got a unique style, right?
Yeah,
I think we almost forget, but I think this one our clips. You want to start one when they open the moon door?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, for sure.
All right, here we go. Oh, excuse me. I'll cut that as well. I gotta cut that because I didn't. Hold on, let me get back to this. So we gonna do it again. Reintroduce it right quick, bro.
So pretty much, trial by combat in which Bronn is standing for Lord Tyrion and Ser Vardis, the Knight of the Vale, is standing for Lady Jane Arryn. I'm sorry, Lady Arryn.
Lady Lysa Arryn. There you go.
Lysa
it was
Arryn.
a Jane John. It was a
Jane is that's from House of the Dragon.
There we go. That's a whole different, right? Yeah, that's 180 years before.
Right.
But it's all good. We going to the clip right now.
But they get it.
Oh yeah, that was dope. I like that scene just because it gave us so much, bro. It gave us so much, but it explained a lot of shit that we don't got to explain. We can talk on it, but it just gave so much without us trying to speak on
it. Yeah, like that. I mean, seeing is the best way to put something into I feel like visualizing something is the best way for me to understand something. So that right there was the best way we could have given it to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because it just spells it out exactly without us trying to
You see how I was trying to already do
what we said or what we think. Exactly. Right, yeah, that's what made me just realize because I was looking at the lineup and I'm like, oh shit, we got that. So every time I do that, I need to remove that one so the next one comes, with what the topics that we cover.
Now from there, we see the next scene is Septa Mordane and Sansa talking, and Sansa is sitting there sewing something, and actually they both sitting there sewing, and Septa Mordane is telling her, "Oh, you wear your hair like a real Southern lady now." And she's telling Septa
like she's not a Northern girl no more.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, yeah, she's like, well, we're in the South, shouldn't we wear? And then at this point, Sansa is like feeling kind of depressed about the situation that happened on the King's Road with her dog getting, her lady getting killed, and also Joffrey not liking her anymore. You know what I mean?
And then the way he reacted to her, he yelled at her and he talked to her like she was a peasant at certain times. And as this conversation moves forward, Sansa and Lady Septa Mordane has a like little a heated discussion because Sansa asks her, "Are you from the north or the south?"
It wasn't really so much as a heated discussion. It was Sansa trying to get snappy with Septa Mordane. She was trying to just be like a what do you call it? Like just trying to show banter toward her, just showing little agitatedness to her, and then she was being rude toward the Septa, which is what the Septa told her, like, you being rude. You know what I mean? I don't think it was like no, because the Septa was just pretty much sitting there trying to have a delicate conversation, I feel like, and Sansa was just being all snappy. But then when Joffrey came around, she got all she got all jolly and was happy to see the prince.
Right. Wait. Before that, that's why I was leading to my point that I was trying to make was when Sansa asked her, was she from the north or the south? And when Septa Mordain went to answer the question, Sansa said, "Oh, that's right. I don't care." That's what I was trying to get to that point to show that interaction with everything that Septa Mordain is trying to teach Sansa, and Sansa went from being a spoiled little fucker at Winterfell to now she's at King's Landing and she's with beholden or betrothed.
With that same pissy attitude.
Yep, you got it. So then, yeah, like you said, Joffrey enters and he tries to win her over with this lion medallion chain, and it works. Of course, it works.
So well.
Sansa melts, falls right in his arms. He makes a pledge to never disrespect her or treat her badly or poorly again. He asks for her forgiveness. I've never heard him say this, like ask for some forgiveness from what he's done. I think it's an act. I don't think it's genuine. We'll see in the episodes to come whether it's not genuine. He speaks on them being married one day and him being his queen, him having kids and ruling the kingdom, and he wanted her and only her beside him to rule the seven kingdoms. And that was just some swag player, you know what I mean? Shit that he was just doing in that moment. Again, of course, the future tell.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and then he kisses her. So they have a kiss, and then she melts, and she just, oh, my prince, and that's just the way she goes about it moving forward. The next scene we have back in Winterfell or near Winterfell, Theon runs into Roz.
Oh yeah, who's
She's on the back of a cart with a driver heading to King's Landing. And Theon wants to know why she's headed for King's Landing. He's talking about how bad they're gonna treat her, and she's only a whore, and she's nobody.
But 1,000 girls that look just like her in King's Landing,
or just even better. Yeah, it turns into this thing. She blows it off and says there's nothing left for her in Winterfell. So she's heading to where she's going, regardless of what it is. And then what does Theon ask her?
He said, "Let me see it one more time.
Let me see it one more time, baby." Yeah. What she do? She like, what you talking about? He throw a gold coin.
Hold on, wait. I think I got one.
Burger. She lift that skirt up on her way as the driver riding away on the cart. She on the back of the car. She lift her skirt.
It's that same coin.
As one of you flip, and you flip it to her, you get a peek. You'll get a peek. Little Roz, little redhead bush.
Hold on, wait, on.
I'm gonna miss you, he says. And she says, I know.
Yeah. But no, they said that was one of the most paused scenes in Westeros history.
just trying to see something that you don't even know is there. That's all it was. Because it wasn't nothing that was gonna get you nothing off nothing, but it was something that was gonna get you right off something. You dig what I mean? So he said, I'm gonna miss you. She said, I know. And she head off to King's Landing, and we will see Roz later.
Yeah,
let everybody know. Sure. We will see Roz later.
In King's Landing.
In King's Landing, ironically. Not with Theon, but
not with the ward. But
so next we got our clip session, and this is when Ned tells Arya and Sansa about their future fate. So we'll just let me reset it, and let me come on now. All right, reset. She just said his father's sigil is not a lion; it's a stag, right? Lordy, there we go. You got it on Do Not Disturb, brother.
So now we
you got your phone on Do Not Disturb.
How they study coming through.
Yeah, that never got to do silent or figure that out. Because every time you do it, it pauses you for like 20 seconds.
Well, I mean, I don't know what the fuck going on. thought I had it's on there. I don't see how call study coming through, but I gotta call 7 people back. But yeah, anyway,
okay,
man.
so in that scene, we see Ned tells Arya and Sansa that going back to Winterfell, Arya is disappointed because she has her lessons with Syrio. Sansa is obviously disappointed because of her connection to Joffrey, but Ned dismisses her connection to Joffrey and tells her, "I'll find you somebody better, a more braver, honest man."
And she don't want a more brave or honest man. She wants him.
He knew in them. They had already talked her into being betrothed to this dude. She's falling in love with him. If she's not in love with him already, it's difficult to stop that train once that train going 200 miles an hour. And I don't think Ned cared or thought about that.
Right.
You know, I mean, with the information that he got or found out in the book of lineage or the history of the 7 kingdoms and the houses, it makes sense, right?
Yeah. I mean, he just found out that Joffrey doesn't have black hair like all his ancestors.
He hadn't made that connection at all.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
From there, if I'm not mistaken, after he reads the book,
okay.
From there you see the Dothraki are celebrating. They just in there, they having a feast, and what do you call it? Like they just in there kicking it, and you hear Viserys coming into the room all drunk and disorderly and loud, and you know what I mean? As he's coming in, you hear Daenerys like, man, go calm him down. That's what she tells Jorah Mormont, like, go get him, go calm him down. And he goes over there to try to like calm him down. And once he touches Viserys, he like, don't put your hands on the dragon. But he drunk and disorderly. So he just saying whatever comes to his mind, right? And from there, he pulls a sword, which is forbidden to even have a sword in Vaes Dothrak because it's forbidden to shed blood in that sacred city. So for him to even pull the sword, you know, it's just like it sparks up like from all over the room, you know. Mm-hmm. So from there, it's like, okay, man, you got Khal Drogo looking at Viserys with the sword in his hand, and he's walking up to Daenerys, the Khaleesi, and putting it to her stomach, threatening the stallion who would mount the world. You know what I mean? And
yeah, and that's what gets a reaction from Khal Drogo is the threat on Dany. His words only meant so much to the point. Even him pulling or threatening to pull and then ultimately pulling out his sword meant nothing. Now I ain't gonna say nothing, but it wasn't to the point that it ended up being. It was only until, because if you recognize as he's talking, Doria or Illyria are translating for Drogo.
Mm-hmm.
So he's there. He's hearing all this, right?
He can understand everything Viserys is saying, for sure.
Before Viserys pulled his sword from his sheath, he said, I'm going to take my sister back. You can have the baby. I'll cut it from her belly.
Yeah.
Before he even pulled the knife and made a physical gesture about the rule of Vaes Dothrak, no weapons, he already violated. Once he heard it, it was a flash to call Drogo. That was like, oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what he said? Okay, bet. And he kept talking and kept talking. And then he physically came up to her and made the gesture. And from there, it was just downhill for Viserys, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a wrap.
Because he kept, what did he keep asking for?
He kept asking for what he was promised, a golden crown.
It's golden crown. I love how we come full circle at some point to the name of the episode. Yeah. And it's for a reason. It's called, the name of this episode 6, season 1, a golden crown. And this is where it all boils down. And a couple of my notes, I got Viserys demanding his crown, says he'll cut Rhaego out of Daenerys' belly and give him to Khal Drogo and take his sister. He also says a golden crown. Drogo says he will give Viserys a golden crown. I lost it again.
Just like he was promised, just like he was asked.
No. Oh, a golden crown that men will tremble to behold. That's just an old way saying that, you know, like they not, whether they fear you or they're afraid of you, it's a difference. It's the same in those words. A crown that men will fear to behold. They won't even, they'll be afraid to look at it like Medusa.
Yeah.
Right? And in that moment, Jorah tells Dany to look away. Dany like
continues to look. No, yeah, she looks. She looks.
It had built. We've went through this. It built 3 or 4, 5 occasions where he earned her not standing up for him.
Yeah.
Right? Because even after
occasion, she was like, "Don't hurt my brother. Don't hurt him. Don't touch."
There we
brother.
Go. He could have lost the ear by now. He could have lost his tongue by now. He could have been gutted and put on a spigot 50 miles, 100 miles back somewhere they was at before they got the Vice Dothrak. She kept saving him and kept saving him and kept saving him. And it got to that point where she was like, nah, I'm cool. It's all good. You do what y'all gonna do. Right? And Jorah tells Dany to look away. She says no. Viserys begs for Dany to save him.
Yeah.
To no avail. Right? He pleads, but still gets what he's begged for, which is a crown for a king, or again, a golden crown. And this would have been a good one to have. We didn't have this one on deck, but we good on the next one to keep these clips coming to show people specifically what we mean without having to describe and get them lost. But give your thoughts on the way that he received his golden crown.
Well, I mean, he took the Dothraki, they got gold all over the place. Gold is like nothing to them. It's not meaningful to them like it is for people in the Westeros. For people in Westeros who spends gold on whores and spend golds on, food, and they steal everything that they get. All the women that they got, they steal them. They take them.
That's how they get their wives, exactly.
Yeah, they just take whatever. So gold, they got an abundance amount of gold, and it's just there because they took it. Like they don't just. So he has something wrapped around his that serves as like a belt, if you will, and he takes that off and puts it in a pot of boil that's already been like boiling with whatever it's been boiling. When he dumps that out, put the gold in there, and lets the gold melt. Into just it melts into liquid gold, and he then takes that gold from that pot and pours it onto the top of Viserys' head.
Right on. And that's where the end of the episode occurs.
Yes, sir.
Right. That was a really good one. There was a lot of detail.
Jump right into the spoiler section on their ass because I got some stuff I want to say.
Okay, hold on. You I gotta. First of This Name podcast is not responsible for ruining Game of Thrones for you. Proceed with caution at your own risk. Did you hear? You were warned. This is the spoiler alert section. If you don't want to hear something you don't want to hear, then don't hear no more.
Man, I was just talking to my cousin. She was watching she said she just started watching Game of Thrones over, and she was like, "Man, just Ned Stark just too goddamn noble for me. Like that's why his ass, you know what I'm saying? Like he's just too damn noble. That's why his ass ended up dying. Like goddamn."
He was right though. If we look at it, he was right. If more people were more noble like him, then the Game of Thrones would have been a different universe. He just lost sight of the sight, or he lost sight of the fact that people were not as noble as him, and people were as manipulative and as dirty as he was noble.
Exactly.
He looked at loyalty too tough. That's all it was. I think, he really felt like people should take an oath and stick with the oath and live by the oath. He just didn't realize that other people didn't do what he
Didn't
did
think
and what
like
he
that.
taught his kids. Yeah. That's the way that he was right. He just was wrong with the people
he was
dealing with.
He was definitely right.
Yeah.
It's this man, shit. I was gonna say too. I had a question, like a little real quick trivia question. And it's gonna be very, very difficult for anybody who wasn't like paying like exquisite attention to the shit. The name of the horse Bran was on.
Oh, it wasn't Summer. It was you mother lover. I got it. Hold on. Osha was, oh man, it's like, it's not a human name. It's like it's like Summer. It's Forest or Fire or some shit. Oh, you dirty dog. You got me. Put that in the loss category. I'll take that L. I know as soon as you say it, because I literally just heard it. I watched the episode 3 times in the last week.
That's why I was like, I know you would probably get it because you just got through watching it. His name was Dancer.
Hold on. Who? Dancer.
You heard me already?
You said Dancer?
Yeah.
That's what it was. Okay, I knew it was like a relation to
when you said Summer. I was like, damn, that was kind of close.
It was that's what I knew. When I remember, I swear I couldn't remember Dancer, but I knew it was close enough that when I heard Dancer, I was like, oh, that's close to Summer.
Yeah,
and that's what through. Okay, you got me, you sucker, fuck ass, sucker ass. You got me, you black son of a gun. You got me, brother.
What was I gonna say?
All right.
You already got that.
That was a small. Hey, hold on. That was a small one, but it was an important one. Yeah. That's a couple points. That ain't just 1 point. A couple, 2, 3 points, because I don't know. You could ask me any other day, and I probably would have been confident. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say this. The value of the eggs. Like, remember when Viserys was trying to leave with the eggs, and he was saying like, if I get one egg, if I sell one egg, I can get this. If I sell
one egg, I can give me an army. If I sell another egg, I can give me a fleet of ships. And if I don't know if he mentioned the third one. Did he mention the third one? What he get?
Yeah, it's just a larger army. He said one egg can get him a ship, and then 2 eggs can get him a ship and an army, and then 3 eggs can get him a large army.
There we go.
Yeah.
So then, but my question is, what were the 3 things he felt those eggs and the army and the ships would get him?
Shit, the Iron Throne.
It was specific. Hold on. In my understanding, hold on. It's 3 words. Hold on. Because he was talking. That was a scene where he was trying to steal the eggs, and Jorah stopped him from stealing the eggs.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Fear."
Oh, without fear, wealth, and he said power. It was. Hold on.
I think that's it. I lost a big track. What was back at the Eyrie, Sir Vardis and Brian? That was before that. Ned sits on the Iron Throne. Renly, they had the hunt.
But I know what you're talking about. He said, "What thing has ever been accomplished without? What ruler has ever accomplished something without fear, without power, without wealth, or something like that?" I know exactly what you're talking about, but I just can't remember specifically the things he said.
Here we go. It was because it was the same scene where he accused Jorah being in love with Dany, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Here we go. Wealth, fear, and love.
Wealth, fear, and love.
There we go. In that scene, he described it as he broke down, I can get this for 1 egg, I can get this for 2 eggs, and with 3 eggs, I can get this. He broke down the same thing of wealth, fear, and love. And he said no one has ever, this was right after Dany ate the heart, right? And they accepted her. He said, no one has ever shown me that type of love. No one has ever accepted me like that. I'm going to take this egg. I'm going to go get my army. And he was only taking 1 egg, right?
Yeah. Well, he was trying to only take 1 egg.
Yeah. The attempt wasn't there. Yeah. Because
the attempt was 1, but he wasn't going to get past Ser Jorah.
He couldn't have thought that. Not After he even tell her, "Oh, you're in love with my sister." So what makes you think that I'm in love with her and I'm gonna let you fuck
think
her
I'm
over?
gonna just let you walk away with her only type of power?
Brother, no, brother. Even with the thought of the Kalasar and the Khaleesi and Khal Drogo and all that, right?
Yeah.
The dragons really were the tippy top of the pyramid.
Even though nobody knew that they would hatch, they was just still worth more than a lot of stuff on Earth.
Well, the dragon eggs that survived that hatching cycle was more it was worth more to just hatch a dragon, even if it was this big. Where am I?
Exactly.
Even if it was small. You remember when the little dude in Qarth tried to take the fucking taker? They was like this big.
Right.
They barely could. They could barely do Karish, right?
Yeah, shit. But just having them was the whole point of, you know what I'm saying? Just being able to be in possession of one.
Okay, I got some notes here. I want to add, I want to do a spoiler alert, but I don't want to bring up things for the spoiler alert. It's weird. I will just pose a question. No, this ain't it. Hold on. Here we go. As of right now, we finally get the first of 4. But the question is, who has the worst death? And this death with Viserys is the first of 4 that, even though we saying spoiler alert, I don't know if I should mention the other 3 or wait until
we might as well. Shit, I already put out there that Ned gonna die. This is the spoiler alert section.
I mean, shit. Honestly, if you even know a little bit about Game of Thrones, you know Ned died early.
Right.
It's spoiler alert. Don't get me wrong, but this the question is, who had first death? And I'm asking you if we should expose or highlight the death as we come across it in the episodes, or should I say the 4 now that I'm thinking, and then we revisit it later?
I mean, I feel like we should do it right now, because if we already warning the people that it's going to be a spoiler alert section and they continue to look at it, then it's on them if they run into whatever we finna talk about.
Okay, I understand that, but even if the death is 3 seasons from now, 4 seasons from now, it don't matter. Okay, okay. So here go my list. Since we starting with Viserys kicks the list off, and just disregard which ones come next or second or third or fourth. I'm just gonna name them. Okay. In my opinion, these are the 4 worst deaths, in my opinion.
Okay.
Viserys, the Golden Crown. Shireen.
Oh, yeah.
Stannis' daughter.
Yeah.
That was a horrible death.
It was.
9-10 years old. That was horrible. Rickon.
Yeah.
He played a game with that boy.
That nigga.
And that boy was running for his life until his death.
He was.
Right? And Oberyn.
Oh, you know what? That might be the coldest one right there.
I think I'm so glad you said that. I was hoping at least one of them was gonna get you that way, and you got one of them got you. Mission accomplished. Mission accomplished. Oberyn's death was nasty, dog.
Nigga, he grabbed that man by his head.
He said yes.
Bro, he punched that man one time. All 32 of his teeth came out his mouth, man.
Chiclets, Tic Tacs. He just spit out.
Like a motherfucker then dropped a bag of Skittles, man.
Bro, like it was an air pump. And they were just pumping it up, waiting for it to blow up. And all of a sudden, this whole thing, and the eyeballs, and then he crushed his head and then smashed his eyeballs with his bro.
Yeah, he had the worst one.
Out of them 4? Out of Shireen, Viserys, even the Golden Crown?
Easily. The Golden Crown, I feel like that was an instant death. It was
close to instant. Yeah.
But that one right there, man, he knocked that man whole, bro. He knocked the man whole mouth out of his mouth.
All the bones in his face were crushed or fucking knocked out.
Every single bone.
His skull, his eye sockets, his nose, his cheeks, his
neck,
chin, his teeth, and his freaking eyeballs gone.
Damn.
So
you ain't got no bones in your neck except the spine bone.
Hey, and it's only a few of them until you get down to the C's or the J's or whatever is the lower spine. So we said Oberyn.
First of all, us examining our face and head like
let you know
that it was the
worst one. He said us. We both just been doing this like, man, I couldn't imagine losing all this.
Exactly.
Like, where are we going? Hell right, yeah. On, so man. Hey, if now we answered the question, so now we're gonna categorize it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's the worst? Oberyn.
Oberyn.
The next.
The second worst, I think, is probably Shireen.
Okay.
She didn't deserve that at all.
And she didn't die slow.
And not at all.
And she was 10 years old, and she got burned for some shit she didn't do. It had nothing to do with her character.
Nothing
Everybody else died. All the rest of Rickon.
And died for no purpose.
At the hand of her daddy and her mama.
And mama.
Yeah. So we going Oberyn, Shireen, Viserys, Rickon?
Viserys, okay. And Rickon last. I say that because if that boy would have ran out there and he would act like he was running the motherfucking football route.
Like what was the movie you brought up?
Apocalypto.
If
he went out there and hit my man with the Apocalypto, he'd have been
audience. Listen to what Lord Sheldon talking about. If you compare that scene of Rickon Stark and Apocalypto with the blue men and the arrows and the field that they did in the sand and shit.
If you know, you know. If you know, you know.
Go find out and then tell us you know. Hit the comments. Head over to the comment section. Discuss more. If there's any corrections that we missed, if there's any corrections you want to make, if there's anything we missed, if there's any detail, comment. If you want to hate, you hate.
Yeah,
if you got something to say,
all the hate.
As long as if you hate, just be ready for the response.
Yeah.
If you gonna say something to us,
talk about my background and everything. Talk about my do-rag, all of that.
Navy vets, Navy vet, Army vet. We ain't trying to hear none of that. You talk about the background, but what about your background? Fuck nigga.
Oh, you talking about this over here?
No, I'm saying you said somebody else can talk about your background, and I'm talking to them. I'm telling them,
what about
fuck their background too. Fuck you mean?
What about your shit?
Yeah, you got
put
dirty
your
ass
podcast up there. Let us see what you talking about.
He got the fucking diplomas and American shit. He a soldier. Man, shut up with them not you, not Lord Sheldon. Sir Tone got respect for Lord Sheldon. I'm talking about them fuck boys that be talking.
Hey, no, man, you know, we talking to the small folk. You know what I'm talking about?
We talking to the small folk from Flea Bottom.
Flea Bottom, you dig?
You motherfuckers.
But yeah, no, man, that was a good episode. We just covered a golden crown. Next we will be discussing You Win or You Die, episode 7 of season 1. I can't wait to that one.
Don't miss it. I'm telling y'all, anybody tuning in right now, do not miss this one. We're gonna have clips. We got some special merchandise coming. We got some personalized merchandise coming. We got some Game of Thrones connection. Hey, and listen, people, anybody that's listening to this at this point, an hour and 40 in, if you just so happen to come across this, I am telling you, we have a person that is directly connected to Game of Thrones that'll be here soon. I don't know if it's going to be the next 3, 4, 5 episodes. It's coming. It's going to be there. I am speaking on to it. I've sent out emails. I had a conversation with one person that just got me like, maybe not, but I'm just speaking into fruition. And before you know it, somebody you recognize, somebody you know that's connected will be talking to us, speaking to us, and it'll be real, it'll be live, and it'll be soon.
Okay, for sure, man. That's dope, man. Hell yeah. I'm glad, man. I'm excited.
We building.
I'm excited.
Tune in every Tuesday, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. We will be here, ready to go win, lose, or draw. And hey, tune in next time. We gonna have Lord G Dot back in the building.
Absolutely.
Bro has some things to deal with. It's understandable. It don't even matter. He can do 1 out of 10 every time he's available. We ready to go. We ready for him to jump in on any episode that we got, even if it's for a few minutes. It don't matter. But anything else you want to toss or throw out there, Lord Sheldon?
No, man. I just wanted to thank all the people who's tuned in so far and who's still with us right now, man. I just want to say, man, we appreciate all y'all continued support, and we just ask y'all to continue to support us, man. Thank y'all so much for everything.
Hey, right on. I ditto that. Hey, that's it. That's all. My name is Sir Tone Roy. That's what it is.
And that's what it's gonna be, man. I'm Lord Sheldon, man. I appreciate y'all.
Right on, brother. Good episode, man. Fucking,
oh, yeah.
Hey, we go tune in for the next one. Hey, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Appreciate your time, brother.
Absolutely.
And we out.